everyone? We're back with this 1965 Mini Cooper that's been actually sitting in this corner since the mid-90s. I thought this would be a fun, cool project because it's small. It's only about, what, 7 feet long, so it'd be a nice change. And then we got some really large cars coming up. But to explain more about this car and kind of the fenders that they put on it and more about it, we have Ken, who is the master head mechanic. Ken, just tell us about what this car is.
Well, this is one of the owner's projects, and he likes to, has a different variety, as you guys are starting to see.
Yeah.
We got this car non-running. It's how we get most of these cars. They're cheaper that way.
Do you remember where it was from?
Oh, I think it was from somebody locally in Orange here, and much more of the history I'm not sure of. But we did end up putting the, I can call them mini lights, the wheels that are on it, and the flared fenders were popular. It didn't run, so we had to get the motor running, tune it, and fuel system properly sorted out. The clutch was a problem, so we changed it.
Does the window come like that? Did you guys make it more of a racing car?
You know, I'm not so sure about the exact originality, how these are, but all of them had these pretty much slide windows.
Okay.
And, you know, we've probably got about 4 or 5 British cars around here, from the Bug Eyes, 3 Bug Eyes, and my cars and so on. British Leyland, they're all the same.
Okay.
So they didn't even have windows for a while. They were optional. And if you research them, they tried to keep them simple for the businessman. Just a simple economic transportation. This has got the same 1800cc motor that's in all the Austin Healey's and all the, you know, my MGB at home, and my Mini Cooper, of course, is sitting sideways.
Because you're a British car fan.
You know, at 16, 17, they were around.
Okay.
And a lot of people didn't like them because they didn't understand them. So let's not say that I was a fan. Let's say back in 77, when the car rationing began, the gas rationing, was it 77 or 3? You could have a hot rod, but if you had a little economic thing to putt around in,
that was the ticket.
And these were $200 cars.
I've had so much interest in the new polish that I've been developing with Tom that I decided to put it up for pre-sale. So if you're interested in getting in line, being one of the first to receive the Picture Perfect polish, which is the polish that I've developed with Tom from CSI, I will leave a link below. I'm looking at sometime in April. The formula is finalized. I'm just waiting on label design, label printing, got to fill the bottles and all that. So if you want to get in line for the Picture Perfect polish, I will have a link below and you can get in line and pre-sell it.
So when you guys got this, other than it not running, how was the shape of the body? Was it fine?
I think we might have spot painted a couple areas and
stuff. Did you paint it, Tom? No, Tom didn't paint it.
We'll have to pull it out and wash it up, and the owner will come around and refresh my memory of some sort. We had a guy, Gil, his name is Gil, he's a British guy, and we had him come in. He loved these cars.
Okay.
And he had a knack for knowing how to fix a rear main seal, you know, the oil leaks that they have. These cars, they have t-shirts that they say they come with oil, which means they all leak. Since you guys are going to disturb this little sleeping beauty, I'm probably going to sniff the fuel. We're going to check the electrical and get it out, and I may drive it up and down.
You think it'll run?
I would say that it did when I parked it. It's the politest thing I can tell somebody, because they'll always talk to me about a car that's been sitting in a garage for 30 years.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with the history of what shape it was in when it went in there, and of course how gasoline goes bad these days and so on. But yeah, we fixed the shifter and fixed all the brakes and everything, and you can see the size of the seats. There's more room in there than you think.
What's your favorite part about this car or British cars in general?
The simplicity of the size of the parts, probably. See that little tire? And, I'm a Chevy guy.
Okay.
I mean, you're standing by one of my favorite toys right here.
Yeah.
That's, you know, that's just what we grew up with.
Yep.
But these little British cars were running around on the street, and people either liked them or hated them. And I really didn't have any opinion, except I knew people and girls and people that had them. We call us kids at that age. We're all about 17. So I worked on them. I fixed them.
Got it.
You didn't mix the brake fluid, or you'd contaminate the entire system and shut the car down. One of the biggest mistakes people would make. Gerland, British, you know, this stuff didn't mix. And just had to have a respect for the electrical system, the Smith's gauges and everything. So anyway.
Wow.
So we'll push it out, and I know the door got damaged, as I recall, on the other side, and this one's still a little bit stiff. Could use a little bit of love, but yeah, these cars are They're a heck of a lot of fun to drive. When you're sitting in the driver's seat and you're buzzing up the neighborhood street here, you accelerate and get into gear and just getting into the sport of driving the car. The headlight assemblies are out there in front of you, and they're so gosh darn close together going down the road that you expect somebody to come up next to you in split lanes with you like a motorcycle. They're just tiny. So
I love that when you said that.
You know, you look up the history of these cars, and you'll see them as full-blown race cars out on the track.
I think they even do dirt rallies with them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The guy that built this building, he was a general contractor. Tom Ivy. Ask Chuck about Tom Ivy.
Okay.
When this was a field and this was a dream, this guy was a contractor. He came into this dirt field with all the gophers and the tall weeds, and he had one of these all race prepped, down to the header and making all the noise, the big Webers on the carburetor, and he came out here and just kept his foot to the floor, beating the pants out of that car, back and forth in all the dirt, and
wow,
he just let loose.
That is so cool.
He was kind of abusing it, I thought, but he was having a great time.
Great time. All right, I'll get it pulled out, we'll clean it up, and then you'll get it running. Deal?
First, we'll see if it rolls. Yeah.
Tell us about why you replaced the clutch in the gas pedal.
Yeah, well, we always like to, again, we usually get them in pieces. That's why you look around here, you're going to see lots of blue bin boxes, okay? So we always have to separate when a car comes to us in pieces. This belongs to the car. This you've just kept for years because you don't know what it is. Anyway, this was a part, and I know we wanted to put a wood dash in it, so I recall as we did, we got that wood piece of trim, and Billy, one of the guys worked for me, retired. He's a good woodworker, and did the wood trim and everything. And the gauges weren't in it, and they didn't work, and we just needed to get in there and do it. So I think the gas pedal, which is a wire driven and everything with the sideways motor, you know, we just had to mount it solidly and get the cable. And then, you know, everybody, these British cars, they had no such thing as an automatic choke, I'm telling you. You got to really know how to feather the choke, okay, to start it up and purr and drive away. So we had to get the choke working on the dual carburetors and so on. So we just had to do some interior work, fix the signals. You know, the column didn't have the cover on it. Just like people love to take things apart, and we usually get them and go, what's this? Not part of the car. What's this? Throw it in a box.
And there's no manual. It doesn't come with instructions. This isn't a Lego set. Though this is a Lego-sized car, there's no directions.
Well, these are kind of classics at this point in their life and everything. So, you know, there's books and stuff out there. But if you remember the car, and you're familiar with the British Leyland, the Smith's gauges, the wiring, you know, it's just, we pretty much just have done it before. So mounted the seats in it, made the shifter has a tube runs up through the column, and you're going to get the gears just right and be able to get reverse. We had to rebush that. So you just fix the little things that are wrong with it. Let's see it. Let's see it all cleaned up. And we might find the battery and throw a brand new hot battery in it.
Let's do it. Cool, we'll get it cleaned up. Now that Ken has gone over the whole car and you can tell how passionate he was about it, we're gonna start cleaning it so maybe we could see it run today. We're gonna start with the rims and tires. And because they're not, these rims actually aren't too bad, I just have the Super Soaper and a little bit of Pure Magic Cleaner in my IK pump sprayer. And because this doesn't need too much cleaning, this would probably actually pressure wash off. But again, I don't pre-rinse anything because I want the dirt to start being encapsulated by the liquid. So because these are fairly new and really not in bad condition at all, I don't feel that they're gonna need a heavy duty cleaning. So I did bring a little brush, and actually I'm gonna let this dwell and then I will pressure wash it off to get the bulk of the dirt off, and then I'll go in with a little brush and kind of detail it probably as the foam is soaking on the car from the car wash. So as you can see on this back rim that was a little bit dirtier, you can see how the soap is encapsulating the dirt and then it's having it drip off. That is the benefit to having a solution that can encapsulate and then rinse away that dirt or kind of drag the dirt off the surface. You want the product doing the work, not you.
see the browning starting to come off the tire as well. So we know we are getting a nice deep clean. Just like we pre-treated the rims and tires, we're gonna pre-treat all the heavy dirt areas. The paint actually isn't too bad except for on the hood, the buildup, but all these areas right in here, and then specifically in this groove, if you look in this groove, there is tons and tons of dirt in there. So I definitely want to pre-treat. I have 2 ounces of the Super Soaper. Again, I'm using one product to do a lot of the work. And you can see, just like it encapsulated on the rims and tires, it's going to encapsulate on the paint and glass as well. And it's going to start removing that dirt, loosening it, separating it from the surface before I go in and touch it at all. You can see how it's just absolutely crushing it on removing that dirt. And again, we're trying to do this as safe as possible, and the safest way possible to do this is to pre-treat, not to go in right away with a pressure washer. The pre-treat has begin to kind of settle and remove all that dirt. We could go in again with the Super Soaper. We're using 4 ounces in a full foam cannon, but for a car like this, you're really not going to use too much. And we're going to, right on top of the pre-soak, we're going to foam everything. Now, as we let that dwell, this is the perfect time that we could go in, because we've already pre-soaked and rinsed the rims. We can kind of go in with our detail brush and finalize the rims. That way, when we rinse all this pre-soak off, these rims will look brand new. Now we could rinse our pre-soak. Now, this car is pretty clean just as it sits now, but now it's time to come in for the contact wash. So this is where now, if you want to take a different detail brush and really get into the rails and stuff, but we could already see how much cleaner the rails are than they were before. And again, the whole idea is cleaning in layers so that you're giving it as safe of a wash as possible. So now it's time we're gonna do our contact wash. So we're gonna foam it again, because it had some oil and some stuff on the roof that had fallen and on this hood. So. So that's it for the wash process. We gotta dry this off, and then we're gonna bring it inside, bring Tom in to tell us anything we gotta look for before we start polishing this paint with the Picture Perfect polish. All right, so now after we washed it and got it really clean, we saw that there was a bunch of swirl marks and stuff like that. So bringing in Tom, the expert, tell us kind of what we're seeing on the paint and then what we're trying.
So this is exactly what I grew up with in the 80s and 90s. Typical diminishing abrasive, scratch pattern everywhere on the whole car. And I believe this is going to come up so nice. Removing all of this because we never put it in. We're never using that gravel backwards technology to polish this poor little baby.
And instead of using that backwards technology, we're using the latest and greatest innovation, which we have right here. This is, the new name is the Picture Perfect polish. Sorry, there's no label. But if you want to see how Tom developed, and we developed this product side by side, we have all the videos on YouTube, and they're continuing on YouTube. I'll make sure I link below, and this polish is available for pre-sale. So we're gonna use the Picture Perfect polish. Tom's gonna do a little demo spot, and we're doing it outside. So normally we pull it in, but this is one really cool feature. With my background as a mobile detailer, we're coming full circle here. System 1 back in the day with you, Tom. Outside polishing, sometimes you just got to get it done outside. But a lot of compounds and a lot of polishes don't work outside. So tell us why this polish actually does work outside.
I love working outside.
Okay.
When we were doing show cars, we needed to look absolutely perfect. So we always did the final in the sun.
Okay.
And I want all the fakeness gone. I don't want any wax, I don't want any silicone on there. I want to see what that car's going to look like when we bring it into the show. And I want to make sure it doesn't fall back a couple notches. Like this obviously fell back.
Well, and every detailer brings the car out to the sun for that final check. But, and I know there's going to be tons and tons and tons of people cringing that we're going to polish out in the sun, and they're going to tell us we're hacks, and we're going to tell us all that. So what specifically, or maybe not specifically, but what allows us with the polish to do it in direct sun, even on hot panels? Luckily, we don't have a hot day, but
it's made for direct sun because of our marine line.
Okay.
So as much as detailers say they don't want to work in the sun,
right.
The only reason why, you know, if you grease it all up and wax it and silicone it all up and then you put it in the sun, well, that's fake finish anyway.
Right.
That's not real. And it's going to fall back. So by having a product that is 100% designed for sun buffing, like our marine products, they have to, you absolutely have to work in the sun.
Right.
Because one side of these big giant yachts are done in the sun on full scaffold with 20, 30 people buffing on these boats. One side's in the shade, one side's in the... You have to make it work. And our product will not get sticky, it's not going to dust, and it's going to remove all of that hack mark from the surface.
What is it in regular compounds, and maybe this is helping out the competition a little too much, but what is it in regular compounds that don't allow you to do that?
Well, they're using a hydrocarbon that we talked about before. And once you know, this car's getting warm. It's what, 70, 75 degrees right now. This car's going to be 100, 120 degrees. And the hydrocarbon will pre-soften the surface. Then it starts getting sticky. So now it's getting...
So that's actually what's happening.
Yeah.
Got it. The paint is getting
so
sticky.
Our product doesn't have that exposed hydrocarbon in there. And we're going to totally take that all out and leave an absolute perfect finish with your one product.
Yep. And that's what, so you're going to do a foam pad test spot. I'll do a microfiber pad test spot, and we'll kind of see, we'll compare and see what's going to work best for us.
Wow. Instantly. And I love it that it's not dusting. A little bit of pressure at first. Now I'm backing off the pressure. And let's see what that looks like.
I'm going to keep working it because I'm going for more of a, as close to perfect as possible, but I also want to show that it's not drying out at all in the sun, so I'm going to keep working it a little bit.
Here you go.
And look at that wipe off. This wipe off's insane.
Yeah, I mean, is the microfiber taken out a little bit more, Jimbo?
I think so. Yeah.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, it's taken out quite a bit more.
So now, do you recommend microfiber only, and we're done with just a microfiber pad?
It would depend on where. I think it would depend upon the agreement with the owner. There's definitely still some defects in the paint.
But it looks a million times better.
But it looks a million times better, especially, let me get a little spritz.
Yeah, and I guess it all comes down to, you know, you want to spend an hour on the car, you want to spend 2 hours on the car.
That's exactly it. So, you know, if a detailer was looking at this, I would say, you know, how much are you getting paid to do the car,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that would kind of dictate the finish that you're chasing, right?
And it sure is nice to not have any dust to chase.
No dusting. So if we look at, that finish is really, really nice. Is it a show car finish? No. But is this a show car? We have chips right here. We have chips.
Yeah.
This is a race car,
Yeah.
right? So I think the finish, what I love about the polish is you could take it as far as you want and the polish is going to perform.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to hit it, as we demoed on this black truck, with a rotary with wool, and then finish it with a soft white microfiber pad, you could.
Yeah.
Me, I think for, the vast majority of people, and what I like to see is like, how far can I get with one polish and one pad, which is why I'm going microfiber, because I think you can get a lot of cut. If we went, you could actually get the sun in both spots here.
Right there.
And if you look at the fender compared to the hood, I don't know how the sun is showing in two spots all at once, but, again, is it a perfect finish? No. Is it 90% better and
this is awesome.
And more than passable?
Super fun.
Yes.
Super easy.
All right, we're actually here with the owner of the car, Chuck. Why did you buy this car? And then what are some history about these cars in general?
Well, I've always liked these cars. They're extremely fun to drive. Hard to believe how well they handle. In the early days, when everybody was racing, these cars would dominate if the track didn't have super long straightaways, like at Riverside or Portland. Some of those tracks, they didn't have a chance because the big cars would pass them on the long straightaways.
Got it. But in the turns and stuff like that.
These cars, I never raced one or anything, but I raced bigger cars, but these cars would pass you in the corners like,
And they do a lot of not off-road, but like dirt rally racing with these cars?
No. Well, they rally raced them in Europe, but they didn't have that here.
Okay.
But these cars, in the days when I was a kid, there were slalom races in every big parking lot that they'd set up with cones, and everybody'd race on the weekends, without even going to a racetrack, and these cars were the ones that always won.
And where did you find this particular car?
My buddy has a big Porsche place, and he built this car and a blue one just like it for his two daughters. One of them loved her car, and the other girl wanted a brand new Toyota or something. So he just stopped working. He built this car from bare shell.
Really?
It was a whole car, but he took it down to bare metal.
Okay.
He didn't have time to put it back together. He was so busy with his Porsche racing. One negative to these cars is they're so small that it's hard to get your fingers in places to work on them. They're everything's so compact on them. But when you sit inside of it, you got plenty of room, even more than a big car.
And it's a left-hand drive, because sometimes I see them right-hand drive.
Well, they were built in England originally, so.
So was this one ever a right-hand drive?
No.
So it was always a left-hand drive. American car, got it. Wow,
and they didn't build them just in England. They built them for, just like Volkswagens, they had factories all over the place.
Okay, got it. But so this one was the guy you bought it from, it was a shell, but was it originally built here then? Or
well, it wasn't exactly a shell. It was already painted, and I just had to put the suspension together, and the engine was already in. It wasn't that far from being done, but.
Do you want to drive it again?
Yeah, it's fun to drive.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for letting us clean it up and bring it back.
Well, thanks for making it look nice.
Yeah. Do you remember, I think they said the 90s it was parked over in the building. Does that sound about accurate?
Which building?
Right here, it was parked.
Oh, right there. Yeah.
Sound about right? Cool. Well, thanks for letting us clean your cars. It's been fun. There's two final things that we have to do to wrap up this detail. The first one is dress the tires. For that, we're going to be using Jimbo's All Dressed Up. This is a water-based dilutable tire dressing. I'm going to spray it directly into an applicator for these lower profile tires. Couple sprays directly onto the applicator. If you need more, you could just a couple squirts. And the very last thing we have to do is touch up the paint and protect it with Toughest Shell. This is a water-based ceramic spray. It can be used in direct sunlight. You can spray it directly onto the panel. You really only need about 2 sprays per panel. Then you could take your soft microfiber towel and simply rub it into the surface. All the products in the Jimbo's line are extremely easy to use. So everything from the soap to the polish to the ceramic spray is all super sun friendly, super forgiving, and super workable. All right, and that wraps up this 1965 Mini Cooper. I think they said 1965. By the way, if you or anyone you may know have cars that are super dirty, sitting in a barn, sitting in a field, anything like that, I'd love the opportunity to completely detail them. So either reach out to me or I'll leave a link below for my contact information, and I really would be grateful for those leads on super dirty cars that we can clean up and showcase us cleaning them up. They weren't able to get it running today. It's gonna take a little bit more mechanical work, so Ken's gonna work on that, but big thanks to Ken and Tom and Chuck for all making guest appearances in this video. I think it was really good. I think this thing turned out amazing. It was so fun to do, so fun to hear the history of it. So all the cleaning products, all the videos that I talked about, I will make sure I link below so you can pick those up. Thanks for all the support on the Jimbo's line. It enables videos like this to continue. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.